Your beliefs are blueprints for your experience. Today we're continuing our shadow work series, and today we're talking about working with your beliefs. So previously we talked about working with your feelings, and so when you're working with your feelings, which again are occurring at the subconscious level, because we talked about this in the 9 levels of consciousness series. And when you identify a feeling that you're feeling, what you can do with that feeling is chase it back to what is the belief that is connected to that feeling. And the beliefs happen at the unconscious level. Okay, so that's level 7. I was like, wait, hold on, I gotta picture this in my head. And of course, I have diagrams. Naturally, I have diagrams. You guys know I love a good diagram. And so basically, how to find a belief is to ask yourself when you have a feeling and you're like, you say, what would I have to believe in order for this to be true? Basically, what would have to be true for me to feel this way? Okay. So for example, let's just say you've texted someone and they haven't texted you back. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and you realize you're dealing with a little bit of anxiety, right? And you're like, that's interesting, right? Because curiosity and not judgment. So why am I feeling this anxiety? What is the root of this anxiety? What would I have to believe is true in order to feel this way? And you might find something like, I don't believe that my friend really likes me, or I'm concerned that they're avoiding me right now, and that means that I'm inherently unlovable. Again, like, you would be surprised at the things that can come up when you ask yourself the right questions. And again, this can come back to roots that, are from 8 years old and being ignored on the playground, because someone was having a bad day. And so you form this belief, like, I'm going to protect myself because people don't really like me. They're just pretending to like me or whatever, and you get this belief in your head. And if you don't take out the garbage, like if you don't ever release what no longer serves, coming back to the intentional living diagram, that's step 4, which again is the heart of shadow work, is releasing those things that no longer serve. If you never take out that trash, if you never release the things that aren't working for you anymore, it kind of feels mean to call it trash, because it did serve at one point potentially, but it's not serving now. So regardless, it's not needed now. It needs to be recycled. So and by recycled, I mean transmuted. But anyway, so if you never take the time to do that, you essentially have all of these beliefs piling up that are like loading you down and giving you all of this extra baggage that's having you respond to things in ways that are not grounded and not reflecting current reality. And so you really want to be in your most present and grounded state. And the only way to do that is to allow yourself to bring these beliefs to light. And let me just talk for 1 second about why that matters. And again, I'll probably do a whole series on this because it deserves it. It's so good. The Pygmalion effect is basically the self-fulfilling prophecy. And I've shared about this previously because it's kind of an interesting dynamic. It's essentially manifestation is really what the Pygmalion effect is. Because essentially, if you believe, so like, let's say inherently I have this belief that I am unlovable, I'm going to behave in a manner that elicits that response from other people, thus validating my belief, right? And so again, it's the self-fulfilling prophecy. So the loop just continues, right? And the only way to disrupt that loop is to realize what the core belief is and to dismantle it, right? And to realign it and to transmute it so that you can release it. So you're not continuing in that loop, in that, Pygmalion effect loop. And a lot of this, again, comes back to being intentional to choose your polarity wisely, right? So how are you going to view things? What are the stories you're going to tell yourself? What expectations are you going to have? I had this conversation with a dear friend of mine, probably like a year ago, because she had shared with me, she always expects that everyone's going to love her. Like, why wouldn't they? Because she's fabulous. And when she said it, it made me realize how deeply I did not feel the same way. And I was like, why don't I feel that way? You know, and as someone who's neurodivergent, you know, I have my quirks, okay? I mean, not that everybody doesn't have their quirks, but I definitely have my quirks. And so, you know, as a child, I was not everybody's flavor. I am a big personality, and that was sometimes too much for people, right? And so, but what that taught me as a child and as someone who, you know, is an Enneagram 4, and I'm giving you lots of information that you may or may not have a grid for, but as an Enneagram 4, I'm very much in my feelings and aware of my feelings. And so as a young child, that meant that I was, you know, deeply wounded by those people who didn't like me, right? I wish that we were more intentional to teach children, you don't need everyone to like you, right? You just need to find your people. Like, who are your people, right? And then be happy with those people. The goal has never been to have everybody in the entire world love you, right? That's not the goal. And so again, it's managing our own expectations to realize like where we're supposed to be and like what that's actually supposed to look like. So anyway, wow, I digressed a little bit there, but I trust that that's for a reason, because that's all good stuff. So really coming back to the beliefs is, as you are able to dismantle those beliefs, you are able to transmute them. And again, that's what we're going to be talking about next. First, we're going to find those loops, because again, coming back to the Pygmalion effect, the pattern tends to repeat. Why? Because the belief is still in effect. So it's creating this loop. And so next we're going to talk about the patterns and loops, and then we're going to talk about how you realign those. So stick around and find out more. Have a great day.